Yeah. Hello, welcome to Tim Anderson Horse Training. This is part 2 of a 2-part series, Advanced Training Ride on a 4-year-old. If you have not seen part 1, I suggest you go back and look at that. I'm on a different horse. The horses are different personalities. They ride different. They train a little bit different. So you might want to watch both of these and see what the differences are between the two horses. Right here, I'm just walking the horse around a little bit, warming up. The walking that I'm doing in this video, I'm real particular about getting the horse's energy up and then getting the horse's energy back down. So where I could have edited some of this walking out, I think it's important that I leave it in so that we can talk about the horse's energy going up and coming back down, so you can see how much walking I actually do. It's I know it can be a little bit boring to sit and watch and wait that time. It's more interesting to see loping circles and spinning and stopping and sliding and all that kind of stuff. But walking is just as important. When you go into an arena, and if it's a walk-in pattern, you need to show that judge that you have a nice, calm, relaxed horse, and you can walk into the middle and stop and settle if that's what the pattern calls for. So even though the walking part might be boring to you, it's a really important part of the training. So I wanted to stress that, and don't skip that part. I see a lot of people, they get on their horse and they're trotting and loping and doing maneuvers, and then they stop and get off. And if you don't train that walking part, that's really important. It's kind of like teaching your horse to stand in the middle of a pattern. If you never stand and let the horse recuperate, that's a part of teaching that you have to teach. So I thought that was important. I wanted to point that out. Now here we're loping circles and rundowns. We're doing a lot of the similar type stuff that we were doing with the other horse. But this horse that I'm on here, even though they're both 4, this is a lot more confident horse. Where the other horse I'm riding in a way to build its confidence, this one is a little bit more confident, a little bit more gritty, challenges me a little more. So I have to kind of challenge her a little bit and kind of keep her on her toes and keep her wanting to work and not take me where she wants to go. She doesn't try to be bad. She just gets kind of bored. So where the other horse you saw that I was working on really getting him straight in the rundowns, this one's a little bit more forward horse. So she kind of naturally gets straight on her own, and I'm not having to work that as much. What I'm doing a little bit more of here is getting her to tip her nose to the inside. In her circles, she wants to kind of counterbend just a little bit. So I want to get her nose to the inside and to keep that outside or inside shoulder up. And then the other thing I do is I'm asking for a little bit of speed with her in certain spots. And right there I'm asking her to speed up just a little bit so I can work on some speed transitions. Where the other one I said was a little bit weaker pushing from behind, this one's a little bit stronger in the back end. So I'm asking her to use that back end and pushing her out in some little bit faster maneuvers. It's not much. Everything builds gradually. A little bit of speed transition, not a lot. So I'm pretty happy with these circles. That was a couple of circles I did. I should be doing a rundown here pretty soon. Probably there. See how I kind of changed the back side of that circle. She was probably trying to take me someplace and not stay on that circle. That's why I'm staying in circles a little bit longer here. There, now she's guiding a little bit. I have this horse in the same bridle that I had in the other horse. It's a cow horse legal bit. Nice stop. And but this horse has been in this bit a few times. So she's used to being used to this bit, used to being pulled on just a little bit with this bit, and ran down in that rundown. I built just a little bit of speed and asked her to stop, and she stopped really nice. I'm happy with that. I only ask a horse to stop hard 1 day a week. I don't stop hard all the time. I'm a big believer in a horse only has so many stops. You're only going to stop so many times hard, and you're going to end up with hock and stifle problems. So I stop a lot at about 60 or 70% effort to help keep the muscle memory there, to help keep the muscles built up for stopping. But I don't stop hard but about 1 day a week, and then on that day I might only stop hard twice, once in each lead. And that's one thing about stopping. You need to teach the horse to practice stopping in both leads. Just about all horses stop better in one lead than they do the other lead. So as I'm walking around here, I've been walking for just over a minute right here. Now I'm loping off. So I walk for just over a minute, and that's one of the big things I want to point out. That was enough time to get her respirations back down, get her energy back down, and get her waiting on me, saying, okay, what's going to be next? And that walking part as we lope is a big deal. So lope some, walk some. And when you do it that way, when you ask the horse to walk after the lope, they walk around nice and easy and relaxed on a loose rein. And it's an important part of teaching. So now we're loping around on the opposite lead, going straight down our rundowns. I like how straight that is. That was a nice rundown. And we'll go into a circle on the opposite side. I'm always, when I'm loping my circles, I'm always going to pass through the middle. I'm always aware of where the middle is, and I'm always going to go straight through the middle. I never get sloppy about hitting the middle. I think it's important for me, it's important for that horse. That horse sees that cone every time it comes through the middle, and I want it to look for that cone every time. And that last big circle, I added a little bit of speed. Now right there, I just asked her to slow down. Now if you notice right there, we slowed down and we steered like we were going into a small, but we didn't do a whole small. We steered, started like we were going to start a small, then we went all the way out to the arena, and then acted like we were going to start a rundown, and when we got back to the middle, we went back into a circle again. So that kind of keeps, especially this horse that kind of thinks a little bit, it keeps her mind fresh. So we went from circle to making her think we were going to do a small slow, and then it's like, nope, run down. Then act like we're going to start a big, and then like, nope, run down. So it kind of keeps her mind fresh. It keeps her where she's, even though we're loping a lot of similar stuff, she never knows what comes next. And that's an important part and a big point that I want to point out. So now we're back loping circles on this side. I'm one-handed, and I've been one-handed with her just about the whole time. And back to another rundown, push it a little bit, and then back into my circle. And you can practice, and this what I'm doing here is I'm practicing building a little bit of speed in my rundown, but I'm not stopping at the end of the rundown. The purpose of what I'm practicing here is not to practice the stop. It's to practice everything up to the stop. The get straight, run down, build speed, then slow down and go around the end. So I'm practicing all the steps without actually doing the stop. If the approach is good, drive down is good, the stop will be good. That was a good stop right there. Make the body correct. And that's what I'm working on here, keeping her body correct. So I'm really pleased with how she rode today, and I know I'm fixing to get off of her in here in just a couple of minutes, but I don't want her to know that we're done. I want her to think that it might be that we're going to lope around or walk around, and we might be loping a lot more. So I want her brain to tell her body that we're gonna chill out because we might be working some more. So I'm never gonna just step off. I mean, everybody knows you need to walk your horse and cool him down before you get off. She's really not that sweaty right here. I could get off if I wanted to, but I'm gonna walk her around because I want that nice relaxed walk after the load. That is so important. I can't stress that enough. The walk has to be trained just like every other maneuver. So we're walking around. You see me picking my hand up, bridling her up, pushing her body around, just kind of keeping her mind in the game as we're walking around. So now we're gonna sit and settle just a minute. And we're gonna ask her to spin. We need to work a little bit of spinning here. Pat her on the hip, wipe the sweat off. Yeah, if you ever watch Reining and they go walk into the middle and move their legs, adjust the saddle, push the hat down on the head. I mean, that's all part of keeping that horse relaxed going into that spin. You don't want the horse anticipating anything. So one of the things you notice with her, she is spinning on her outside leg. That's something I'm going to need to be working on here pretty soon. As soon as I put a little bit of pressure in her outside hip and ask her to speed up, that's going to fix itself. I'm not too worried about it. What I'm doing here that's different is I'm doing all this one-handed, and I'm asking her, I'm just putting a little neck rein on and just asking her to find her footfall and step around. She has been probably 3/4 most of the way transitioning from two-handed to one-handed, but she's still not quite confident in that spin one-handed. She's used to me helping her just a little bit. So what I'm wanting her to do is I want her to take responsibility of her body. As she stepped out a little bit, just pull her back in. I talk about using that outside shoulder to pull them back in that last video. And ask her to take responsibility for her spin and step around and do it without a lot of help from me. So that's what I'm doing right there. Now I'm just kind of playing around with that rein. I want to make sure she's not too worried about it, which she's not. But we're done. I'm going to step down. But again, I'm not stepping immediately down after we've done the spin. I want her to think that there may be more coming. So that's the part 2 video of riding the training ride on a 4-year-old. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button. If you are, thank you for watching.